Call the meeting to order. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, GL Chapter 38, Section 18, and Governor Healy's March 29, 2023 revised order extending remote participation by all members, any meeting of a public body. This meeting of the Select Board will be conducted both in person and via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. Specific information and the general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public and our parties with the right and a requirement to attend this meeting can be found on the town's website. Committee members and members of the public may attend this meeting in person or remotely. Instructions for remote access can be found on the top of the agenda. Every effort will be made to ensure that those attending remotely can access the proceedings in real time via technological means. Pursuant to MGL 7C 38, Section 20F, after notifying the chair of the public body, any person may make a video or audio recording of an open session of a meeting of a public body, may transmit the meeting through any medium. Beginning of the meeting, the chair shall inform other attendees of any such recording. Meeting is being recorded by Berkshire Edge, Berkshire Eagle, and the town of Great Barrington. Any member of the public wishing to speak at the meeting must receive permission of the chair. The listing of agenda items, those reasonably anticipated by the chair, which may be discussed at the meeting. Not all items listed may in fact be discussed, and other items not listed may be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by law. So we are going to convene an executive session to return to open session. So A is to executive session under MGL Chapter 38, Section 21A3. For the following purpose, discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect to the beginning, bargaining or litigating position of the public body, and the chair so declares, which I do. So do I have the first motion?
I move that the board meet in executive session pursuant to MGL Chapter 30A, Section 21A3 for the following purpose. To discuss strategy with respect to litigation against the town concerning host community agreements for marijuana establishments, Theory Wellness, Community Growth Partners, High Minded LLC, and DTNT LLC.
Second. Okay. Hold on one second. Eileen?
How long do you think it will be?
Oh, we're hoping a half hour most.
Thank you.
I missed what it was, D2N2.
You do it. That's great. So we have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, Ben.
Aye.
Garfield.
Aye.
Eric. Aye. Lee.
Aye.
And aye, it's unanimous. B is to go into executive session under MGL Chapter 38, Section 21A7 for the following purpose: to comply with or act under the authority of any general or special law or federal grant and aid requirements. Do I have a motion?
I move that the board meet in executive session pursuant to MGL Chapter 30A, Section 21A7 to approve executive session minutes from the previous meetings. June 24th, 2024, July 8th, 2024, September 9th, 2024.
Second.
Roll call, Ben.
Aye.
Garfield.
Aye.
Eric.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
And aye. Unanimous. We will come back into open session as soon as we can. All right. We have to wait in the hallway until we're back.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh. Yes. Maybe I don't know.
Recording in progress.
Oh, my. Is it yours or? Yeah. I turned his on. Okay, it's good. Oh.
Okay, we are back into open session. Select board's announcements, statements. Ben?
Yeah, I wanted to use my time tonight just to remind everyone that this board voted to explore the financial feasibility of possibly buying Houstonic Waterworks last December, right? And that we'll be having a meeting later this month to discuss the findings of the first stage of that process. I'm saying that because I, like most of my neighbors and other Houstonic Waterworks customers, received a letter from Houstonic Waterworks last week, essentially proposing this concept as if it were a new idea, that we should form a Houstonic Municipal Water Corporation. I personally found this very frustrating since the process that I was just describing has been delayed by Houstonic Waterworks not providing the information that we needed to actually move forward with this project. That coupled with their hiring of an expert last week, who, in addition to derailing the Board of Health meeting, also paid visits to Houstonic Waterworks customers' houses to try to tell them that their water was better than they thought it was. I think just kind of goes to show how serious they have been about this process. And it's, I say this every time we talk about this, deeply frustrating as a member of this board and as Houstonic Waterworks customer. And I think it just, again, this is an example of how much help we need from our state and federal reps, that we are doing everything we can, but we are locked in a process with a group that just does not take this seriously. And we need help from our elected representatives at the state and federal levels to provide us with some leverage and some backup to actually make sure that something long-term and positive happens for the people of Houstonic. Thank you.
Garfield?
I'll back up what Ben said, but I just wanted to thank the DPW guys. I had some potholes in our road and it was one right from my driveway, just kept hitting President Calm, and lo and behold, they're done. A couple of streets and went around and did them, so I thank them for their good work. Thank you.
Thanks, Garfield. Eric?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for Ben for that well said statement. And it is all true, unfortunately, what he said. So it's fascinating to say that, you know, to produce a solution as Houstonic Waterworks seem to do with their flyer, yet be an obstructionist the whole way of this process. So that's, you know, yet again, another fascinating trait from Houstonic Waterworks. So with that being said, I would like to end on a little bit more of a positive note. And as I normally do on my weekends, I take a stroll down the Hoosier Rail Trail. And this weekend, topped with the beautiful weather, you know, the DPW put these old these benches along the trail, and they've been there for a while now, but on this particular walk, they were all being used. I didn't get to use them, unfortunately, but I normally do, and it's just I know in the beginning, there were some people that were upset with the Hoosier Rail Trail being upgraded, so it's accessible to everybody, but it is a beautiful trail, and I noticed, you know, there's so many more people using it, and it's, you know, people, there's a lady with a walker and everything, and it's accessible. It's a beautiful trail, and the benches just really complement it, and just really happy about it. So just wanted to state that. Thank you.
Thanks, Eric. Lee?
Thank you both. Thank you, Ben, actually, about speaking of, about the need for, state and federal, support with the Houstonic Water Works situation. Wanted to thank Senator Ed Markey, who came along to endorse me on Thursday. And also I took the opportunity to take him for a walkabout in Great Barrington. And thank you to the members that attended that. But the reason why I'm talking about that is that I wanted to introduce him, you know, specifically to downtown Great Barrington. And in addition to taking him to, 6 or 7 different businesses and meeting the small businesses owners. I did have a private conversation with them afterwards, specifically about the Houstonic Waterworks, and I had another conversation with the team today. So we are talking about, and I do have permission, looking into a congressional directed spending, CDS. So, one of the ideas in having someone from the federal level come to this town is to start discussions and relationships. And so that will be something that no matter what role I'm in, whether I'm on the select board or a state representative, that this discussion has started and it will be continued. So that's definitely on his radar.
Yeah.
And thank you both for coming.
Thank you.
If I can just chime in one other little thing, I don't know if it means anything, but. I don't know if we could have done this any earlier, but I've been harping always for the feds to get involved. And I've been talking about this for a long time. So it's good that if it's gonna start, we need to start it. Get moving.
Thanks for that. Approval of minutes, do I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the minutes of September 9th, 2024. I'm gonna go in.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Alright,
I'm gonna make a motion to approve the minutes of September 23rd, 2024 with an amendment.
Yes.
It's incorrectly labeled, and I might have misspoke that the Lee meeting about airborne PCBs at in Lee at the high school is actually on October 10th. And not the date that it's stated in the minutes. So I would like to amend it to say October 10th at 6:30 at the Lee High School, please.
We have a
Second.
discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Town managers report.
Yes. The first item on my list for this evening is Representative Chicken Kelly. He will not be here this evening. He did reach out and apologize to you guys. He has a conflict, so he will be joining us for a meeting later in the month or early in November. Halloween trick or treat, we'll get a press release and a reminder out later this month. And we'll be sure to post notices on our social media pages, on our website and so on, but just wanted to share tonight that we would be holding trick or treat hours at the same time on the same date, again, October 31st from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. And as always, leave your lights on if you are participating, lights off if not. And my last update for this evening, Houstonic Waterworks. Again, Ben touched on this earlier, but just a reminder that we'll be hosting our presentation on Monday, October 28th. It's a presentation of financial study by DPC. And at this point, we're looking at either the high school or the middle school so that we can provide both enough space and a remote meeting option for those that want to participate remotely. So I'm working with Peter Dillon to nail that down, and as soon as we have a location, I'll get that out to folks through, again, press release, our social media pages. And in this situation, we'll also do a code red call so that we can be sure to get everything.
What was the date again? I'm sorry.
October 28th.
20. Thank you.
Okay, license permits. Next one is the Great Barrington Rotary. I'm a member of Rotary, 40 years, and out of an abundance of caution, no other reason, I'll recuse myself for this terrific event.
Okay, that's good. So we have an application for a one-day license with a GB Rotary Touch a Truck. Do we have a motion to, actually, would you like to start?
I'm just here to answer questions. It's a great event. We've been doing this since 2008. We're at Butternut from 10 to 3 on the 20th. So it's designed to get families out there, have kids have a good time. We added a pumpkin drop for those of you who are into dropping pumpkins from cranes. So we landed in little kiddie pools. So it's a pretty cool event. So got kids or you're a big kid and you want to join us, it's a great event. And all of the proceeds go to the Rotary, which some of you are probably familiar with in terms of supporting everything from Fairview to Railroad Street, as well as CATA and some of the other great nonprofits in the area.
How much of tickets?
So,
Cars?
we do a car load, it's
Yeah.
$20 for a car load.
Okay.
So, you know, if you got just a few kids, load up the neighbors and bring them on over.
Right, thank you.
You know when that pumpkin drop, Mike?
That's the
End of the
last
day.
thing we do at 3 o'clock. So it goes from 10 till 3, and 3 o'clock is when we drop the pumpkin.
What day
Any
was it,
questions?
20th?
It's a Sunday,
It's just Sunday.
Sunday, do you know the weight of the pumpkin this year?
800 pounds.
Oh, my goodness.
All right. And who's the pumpkin from? We can give a little shout out.
The pumpkin is from a guy up in Stevenstown. His
Okay.
name is Michael Graff. Hard to find an 800 pound pumpkin, believe it or not.
I'm impressed.
Not easy to find.
Wow.
Any other questions? Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion for a one-day entertainment license to the GB Rotary Club Touch a Truck and Pumpkin Fest at 380 State Road, Great Barrington, Speed Butternut, October 20th, 2024, from 10 AM to 3 PM.
All in favor?
Or do it the
Second.
second?
Oh, second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, it's unanimous with one abstention. Or you want to say? Yeah.
Thanks, Lee. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you truck day.
Yeah.
Public hearing, Price Chopper Operating Company of Massachusetts, DBA Market 32 by Price Chopper, application for amendment for liquor license change of manager, 300 Stockbridge Road, Barrington. Do you have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote, Ben,
Aye.
Garfield,
Aye.
Eric,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
and I. Do we have an applicant?
I am not seeing anyone on the application in the waiting room, so if anyone's out there, just raise your hand, please. There we go.
There you go.
Yeah.
No, is there anyone from Market 32 / Price Chopper here? Okay, the agenda, I'm not gonna. Go a motion to continue the public hearing to October 21st.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote, then.
Aye.
Garfield,
Aye.
Eric, Lee,
Aye.
and it's unanimous. Okay, next is petition number 309-58730 of the Massachusetts Electric Company, DBA National Grid and Verizon New England Inc. to install 14 joint owners of JO poles on Herbert Road, beginning at a point approximately 20 feet west of the center line of the intersection of Foothill Farm Drive and continuing 5,152.35 feet in a southern direction.
Be recusing myself.
Tree conductor and over 11,082 feet from conduit, 477 spaces along Thorold Road. Installation of 14 JO poles and 3 JO anchors, replacement of 68 poles. Do you have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
I have a second. Roll call, Ben.
Aye.
Garfield,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
and I. Is someone here from, you pay with their? Scott said. Eric, one second.
Scott and Eric, both of your mics are open.
So your mics are open. Do I have someone giving a brief explanation of the project?
Yes, hi, my name is Eric Fontaine. Does everyone hear me well? I just want to make sure. Can you?
Yes. Yes.
Yep, perfect. Yeah, so National Grid here is to redo all of Herbert Street as it's currently open wire hotel construction. So by doing this project, they would increase the liability as it shown that has some historic events to have passed when it gets over certain miles per hour. Usually this street goes out. So they intend to fix that by putting in spacer cable, which will allow like any tree limbs to, not trip the circuit. So that will increase the liability and power, and pretty much do it that way. Sorry there. butchered most of it, but yeah, feel free if you have any questions, I can answer as much as I can.
Okay, thank you, Eric. Any public comments? Anyone to speak in favor or opposition?
Yeah, this is Scott Sains. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, so I have a question. I live on
Just give
Hurlburt.
your address, just give your address, please.
I'm at 129 Hurlburt Road.
Thank you.
Yeah, and my question is, when we got the warrant, I guess that talks about how it's going to be, the poles are going to be distributed, it was unclear to me if poles are going to be replaced, if additional poles are going to be placed, if it's going to be underground. So I need to know at 129 Hurlburt what's happening with the poles that are in front of my house, because I've already got 2. So I don't want a 3rd. So tell me what's going
Eric,
to.
yeah, Eric, you want to answer that? Did you hear that?
Yep, I'm just looking at 129. So you will remain to have 2 poles. So majority of the poles that are existing on Hobart Road, they're going to be replaced with a newer and thicker glass pole. But the only petitioning the ones that were being relocated. However, on 129, we are not calling to relocate or install new poles. So we're just going to simply replace what's existing.
Okay, very good. That's all I had to ask. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Scott. Anyone else? Board, any questions?
I was just curious, so when you have enough outages, is that when you make the decision to replace poles, or is there kind of a threshold, or? I'm just curious how you make it.
Yeah, it's mostly, excuse me, it's kind of on the list of worst performing feeders. So if it's on that list, then that's their first course of action. So yeah. So the threshold, I believe, is just the amount of outages on like certain wind power. So typically they should, if it's like 15-mile-an-hour winds, it shouldn't have any outages. So stuff like that. I don't know the ins and out of that one, but basically
So, like,
we need to reconduct that.
So if residents felt like they had a high number of outages, they could report it to National Grid and make a petition to look at that, or would you automatically would know, so you would probably keep that internally, right?
I'm sorry, as far as like how many outages we got on that?
Yeah, like let's say on a street, you seem to, every time the wind blows, there's an outage. Is that something the residents should be proactive and contact National Grid and say, hey, it seems that every time the wind blows over 20 miles per hour, we have an outage? Or is that something you internally clock anyways?
I understand now. Sorry. Yeah, I mean, everyone should be reaching out to National Grid. There's an app or on your phone that you can report an outage, and that will let them know that your residence is no longer has power. And so if and then everyone should be doing that. So happens that most of the time on that street, there's a lot of it. So we'll just fix that.
All right, thank you.
Anyone else? Motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, Ben.
Aye.
Garfield.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
And I. Any discussion? Motion, please.
Let me send off.
No. Just clarification number.
Okay, I make a motion to grant petition 309587302 National Grid.
Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and I have a second. Roll call, Ben.
Aye.
Garfield.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
And I, it's unanimous. So that wasn't exciting enough, we get to do it over again. Petition number 309588698 of the Massachusetts Electric Company, DBA National Grid and Verizon New England, Inc. to install 6 joint ownership poles on Division Street, beginning at a point approximately 50 feet northeast of the center line of the intersection of Seacon Road and Division Street, and continuing approximately 5,000 feet in a northeast direction. National Grid proposes to install 6 poles. Pole 73-50, 78-50, 79-50, 80-50, 102-50, 103-50 on Division Street. Do you have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Roll call, Ben.
Aye.
Garfield.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
And I, it's unanimous. Eric, do you want to give an explanation of this project?
Sure, you guys hear me? No.
Yes,
Yep,
we can.
okay. All right, perfect. Yeah, very similar to Herbert, increasing liability on that street. It's that pretty much in the same vein, with a lot of trees in the area. Well, changing out the hotep construction to spacer cable, which again allows much more resistance to tree falling and stuff.
Thank you. Do I have any public to speak in favor or opposition? Select board questions. Close the motion to close the public hearing.
Seven.
Got a second?
Second.
Roll call, Ben.
Aye.
Garfield.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
And I, it's unanimous. Any discussion? A motion, please.
I make a motion to approve petition 309586698 to Massachusetts Electric Company doing business as National Grid.
Got a second?
Second.
Roll call, any discussion? Roll call vote, Ben.
Aye.
Garfield.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
And I, it's unanimous. You are all set on both of those, Eric.
All right, thank you. Good luck with the 800-pound pumpkin.
Thank you. We'll try not to do it around the electric pole.
All right.
New business, community television with Southern Berkshire, announcement of a new community radio station, WGSL, 107.3 FM and streaming online.
Good evening, Great Barrington Selectboard. Thank you for your time tonight. My name is Richard Frederick. I'm the Executive Director for Community Television for the Southern Berkshires. I'm proud to announce tonight that CTSB has been granted an FCC license for low power FM. And we'll begin to build out a new community radio station at our studio located at 40 Limestone Road in Lee. But before I begin to talk about the new radio station, I just wanted to mention that the great work that the staff at Community Television for the Southern Berkshires continues to perform. We've grown our viewership from 22,000 visits in 2022 to over 50,000 visits in the same time frame in 2024. MFTV, your local high school show, had over 1,000 views last month, and I want to say great work by the MMTV students. CTSB continues to underwrite our sponsor Monument Mountain t-shirts, such as this one here with the Monument Mountain sports shirts with the community sponsors on the back. This is the third time that we've done this. So we like to give back through internships, scholarships, and sponsorships whenever we can. Our small staff provides extensive community programming, including school committees, select board meetings, sports, community events, local authors, musicians, artists, just to name a few. We now live stream major public events such as Jamie Raskin's visit to the Mahawi last year, Rachel Maddow at the Authors Guild in Lenox this past weekend, and the annual Fall Festival of Shakespeare. In this time of declining cable subscriptions, CTSB is doing more in our community and is more popular than ever. So what's next? What's next for us is community radio. Our FCC construction permit gives us 2 years to construct WGSL community radio, and we hope to bring the broadcast online in early 2025. The call letters stand for Great Barrington, Sheffield, Stockbridge, Lenox, and Lee. We will broadcast on 107.3 FM and play commercial-free classical and jazz music with community programs mixed in. Community radio stations are owned, operated, and influenced by the communities they serve. As a nonprofit entity, WGSL will offer a vital platform for individuals, groups, and communities to share their stories, experiences, perspectives in an increasingly media-rich environment. Community programming is not necessarily spinning records and playing music. It's an opportunity to produce high-quality audio essays, focusing on the great people and events happening in our community. Those outside the 5-mile broadcast can stream WGSL for free, as you can with CTSB television. The cost of this project will be approximately $25,000. And it'll be paid for and funded by income CTSB receives from our rooftop mounted solar panels, which produce more energy than we use, pumping electricity back into the grid. WGSL will not use money from our cable TV franchise contract with Spectrum. And in addition, WGSL will be fully automated and not require any additional staffing. This is a big win for the residents of the Southern Berkshires, who will now be able to create their own radio show and listen to commercial-free classical and jazz music. The ideas are limitless. Programming can be anything from local history, library presentations, to journalism. CTSB loves the five towns we serve. We intend to make WGSL available to all in government, police, fire emergency services in the event an urgent message needs to be broadcast regarding public safety. Currently, CTSB is in the process of acquiring the special permit from the Town of Lee Planning Board to construct a 50-foot antenna on the south side of our studio. And WGSL will partnership with other community radio stations such as WBCR here on Main Street and WTBR in Pittsfield, allowing the community's voice to be heard all over the Berkshires. So I thank you for your time tonight and your continued support of CTSB and future WGSL radio. Do you have any questions for me?
Anyone have any questions, Ellie?
Yeah, thank you very much and congratulations.
Thank you very much.
So you mentioned WBCR. Is this direct competition or how does that work?
No, we don't look at it this way. I'm friends with John Brzezinski and people at WBCR, and similar to our low power FM, they can only broadcast for, I believe, a 5-mile radius. So they don't make it to Lee, we don't make it to Great Barrington, and through our partnership, we can share some of their community programming, and they can share some of our community programming. And what they do and what Pittsfield does is very, very different than what we're doing. We have classical and jazz. The programming here is very different. Pittsfield does talk shows and weather and Sunday morning polka and things like that. So yeah, it's all very different. And as a network, we're stronger together and we can bring those stories to more and more people.
So you will reach Great Barrington or you won't?
The physical broadcast on the antenna will not.
Will not.
I
Oh, okay.
believe because of Bear Mountain.
Okay.
So if people in Great Barrington and Sheffield want to listen, they can stream
Stream it.
via our website for free.
Okay. And it's automated, so you're not gonna have DJs or anything? Or
No DJs, it's so much like the TV channels. It's a computer program that runs the programmed shows 24 hours a day. And then we insert programs into those time slots where we would like. So it doesn't need a physical time to sit there and.
So if someone wanted to produce their own program, they would just produce it and then you would insert it. So
Yeah.
you would still have that.
Staff would train them,
Yeah.
they would record their project, do a little bit of editing, and then we would put it into a time slot.
Different.
Sure.
Exciting.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And while
Yeah, go ahead.
Is this, money-making project? Is that why you have it? Why did you decide that you needed it, or we need it, or it's needed?
We're a nonprofit and community radio is growing. There's about 1,500 stations nationwide right now. And every 10 years, the FCC opens up the permitting process. And our national organizations encourage us to pursue licensing if it was available in our community. And no, it just gives more, it gives more to the community. We have a small amount of money to keep the equipment going and a small budget of $25,000 to get the tower installed and all the equipment. And I think we'll have enough money and time to keep the project going. We have lots of great volunteers who are went to college for radio and want to be involved. And I think it just gives more to the community. And in no way will we be making any money from it now.
Well, it's nice that doing that, and it's nice for the people in that area, so thank you for that.
As a pitch for community television, so I was a film editor by trade. I was in the union in Los Angeles for many years working for the studios, but I started my career in community television in Arlington, Virginia. So as a student in high school, I rented out the equipment and I made my own movie, and then that ended up winning a national award, and that led me to getting headhunted in Los Angeles. So it all started with community television and having that access to equipment and having a mentor, show me the ropes. And so, for students that are especially interested in radio and television, I mean, to have that
Yeah.
ability to have equipment, you know, that you can loan. I mean, you get trained and you can loan it out, and think of the creativity. And it's really, I mean, with the Berkshire Film and Media Commission and, you know, hopefully in Lennox, you really kind of have that workforce pipeline of, you know, access. So I'm a huge supporter of you guys. So thank you.
Thank you. And for students, it's always free access to cameras and computers and a studio and lighting. And it's free year round. So I.
Yeah, and they train you and you loan.
Well,
Yeah,
nice.
no, it's really great.
I was just curious.
And while I have your ear, I should mention that, you know, moving forward in the next few years, we are gonna need the support of town. Of our 5 towns, while the state works on legislation, an act to modernize funding for community media programming. Where basically as cable subscriptions start to decline, they're asking streamers such as Netflix and Hulu and Disney to. Put money into a fund to support community television, since they were making so much money off of the polls and other public and private lands. So much like the cable, as cable disappears, we're asking that the streamers, you know, help fund community television moving forward. So you may hear more about that in the future.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Citizen street time. Go ahead, Michelle.
Let Toby go.
Toby. Whoever wants to speak.
Hi, Toby Stanton, 69 Division Street. Last time I spoke, it got a little wound up. I apologize for that. I still have a list of disappointments that I don't really want to get to. I want to focus on the solution part. At the Board of Health meeting, there was somewhere between, I think around 35 people on the meeting. I just impromptu said, I want to have a citizens meeting at my house. Please come 1 to 3. There was nothing about what it was about or anything. I had 12 people show up. 6 of them I never met before. So that was good. And I had 100% thumbs up on my liaison idea. So I would like to ask you to put it on the agenda. Or if there's something I need to do that, is it just to ask, or do I need to build?
Since there are people listening who not heard this, just briefly. While I'm here.
What I can't tell you without why, so it's a little bit difficult. But I went through a year of planning and going to the Conservation Commission, because that's what it says in the book, do not pass this step, you know, like make sure you're going to the Conservation Commission. A year later, just to find out that it wasn't even possible.
I got it. I think people understand.
That's like huge for me. And I think it could have been avoided by having somebody in town hall that was there to help the citizens when they come in with a problem such as mine. In a nutshell.
Thank you. That was helpful.
So, thank you.
Oh, sure. Thank you very much.
Oh, one last thing. I didn't get an answer. Do I have to do something else to put on the list, or can you tell me when it might get put on?
Now, I know the next meeting is extremely busy, so let's.
2 months or something?
Yeah, probably. The next meeting I know won't go
Okay.
well. But
Thank you.
we'll see. And we'll be in touch with you if we're not going to, like if it's gonna be farther out,
Thank you.
because it has to go through budget process anyway.
Understood.
Michelle, go right ahead. I don't see anybody online, so.
Michelle Lubear, 70 Division Street. Before I start, I was just wondering, Senator Markey visited Great Barrington. Did he go to Houstonic?
I didn't see him, so.
You didn't see him? Because I would have loved to show him the railroad mess on Van Duysville Road, but in any event. I missed the joint meeting of the Select Board and the Planning Board, with the news of a major illness of one of my siblings and the death of another. I did not attend the meeting of September 23rd. However, I did watch the meeting on CTSV TV and paid particular attention to the citizens speak. Mr. Toby Stanton, my neighbor, spoke at that time expressing his frustration with our town government, suggesting that a citizen liaison be established, and more. I share Mr. Stanton's frustration. Being Mr. Stanton's neighbor, I witnessed the fire that destroyed Mr. Stanton's garage. I saw and also recorded the frustration of firefighters as they desperately tried to get water from the fire hydrant located on my property. Later, we find out that that hydrant isn't for firefighting. This fire hydrant, which is owned by Housatonic Water, was nothing more than a lawn ornament. Growing up in the house I live in, I always thought this fire hydrant was a functioning fire hydrant, and apparently so did the town of Great Barrington. This being said, and considering the circumstances under which the Stantons lost their garage, I would think a little bit of understanding and a lot of assistance would be offered to this family, while still abiding by the town procedures. I also understand that for Mr. Stanton to file for a permit for a second floor to his garage, the charge is $350. Seriously, as a citizen, neighbor of the Stantons, and a taxpayer, I think waiving the $350 fee is the very least our town can do for this family. My husband and I talk regularly with the Stantons, and to hear what Mr. Stanton is going through, dealing with our town government, is terrible. Please consider assisting and supporting this family as they try to rebuild the garage, a garage that burned down due to the negligence of Housatonic Water and the lack of awareness by our town government in this particular instance. Secondly, during citizen speak, Chair Bannon often comments that the board can't respond and also can't discuss any issue that comes up since it isn't on the agenda. He did this during Mr. Stanton's citizen speak. Per Chair Bannon, this is according to open meeting law. This is true in some ways. Much of how a meeting is handled is at the discretion and responsibility of the chair. Regardless, it is equally important that the chair treat the citizens that come before the board in the same or equal manner. But the key words are the topic isn't on the agenda. So what does a citizen do? The citizen requests, just as Mr. Stanton, that their concern or issue be placed on the agenda. This is what I did regarding the Housatonic Railroad's dumping of debris from another community in my residential neighborhood. Yet, I was denied a place on the agenda by this board, and worse yet, wasn't even told why. Is this citizen engagement? Is this citizen participation? Is this democracy? And considering that a select board member sits before me as a candidate for state representative adds insult to injury. Giving a citizen 3 minutes to speak is sometimes insufficient, but blocking a citizen from placing an item on an agenda, well, that's just poor governance. My point, the select board is becoming more and more scripted and restricted. You are walling yourself off from the people you are supposed to serve. I'm not happy, and judging from conversations I'm having with other citizens, including at Mr. Stanton's meeting, I'm not alone. It's time for change. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Anyone else? Seeing no other hands, no one at the podium. Select board time. Ben,
Nothing from me.
Garfield.
I just have a question, maybe because Indigenous People Day is coming up. But I noticed that the Squaw Peak sign is still up. Is there anyone having a problem with that, or is it fine? It has not. If you ask me, it's still there. It doesn't seem to me, it's not any different just because they have another sign below
We took it down shortly after installing the new Woodland Hill sign, and there was, from what I understand, a number of issues, confusion around deliveries. So we put a temporary sign back up, and I believe it's still up at this.
it. Yeah,
It is.
it's just by a couple days.
Yeah, we've talked about removing it, but we're still having some issues with the postal service, so we've been kind of waiting until everything is ironed out.
Hmm.
But we're happy to remove it at any point.
Eric,
Nothing.
Blake, thank you. And I have nothing. Media time. By unanimous consent, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Hmm.